Hello everybody and welcome back to Beanie Boo Safari. I've been on BooTube for a long time, so I have a few tips and tricks to share, and so do you guys. So today I bring you the ultimate guide to making good Beanie Boo videos. The Safari's twin sister Savannah, hi, wants to start making BooTube videos but doesn't know how. So today we're going to show her how it's done. First, we need to start with the YouTube side of things. You need to think about what kind of a channel you really want to be. Do you mostly enjoy doing DIY videos, or are you the more music video and skit type? What kind of an aesthetic are you going to go for? And what are your color themes? Once you've had this all figured out, you probably have an idea of what your mascot should be. Obviously, but sometimes it's hard to pick. A lot of people go for their favorite Beanie Boo, which is exactly what I did. But some recommendations are to go with something that's original and iconic, something that people will remember. And also try to pick a Beanie Boo that you won't get tired of. It's sometimes annoying if a channel keeps on changing their mascots over and over again, because the mascot is the core of the channel. Also, a bonus pro tip is to have an iconic mascot look. Safari is normally seen wearing a flower crown and purple, pearls. She also wears glasses sometimes. That's her iconic look. That will help people remember your channel better. Savannah over here has got a safety pin on her ear, and I'm gonna put this chain on her. You know what? Why not this jacket too? So now that she has an iconic look, she can take her profile picture and also design her banner. I recommend using Canva because it has a lot of good elements and it's super easy to use. Plus, you can use it for free. So, once you give your actual channel a bit of a glow up, now it's time to actually start setting up for filming your video. This is Savannah's current situation, which is not good. See, the lighting's bad, the camera's shaky, there's no professionalism to it at all. But that's okay, that's what I'm here to fix. First, find a location with good lighting and preferably not on your carpet. Although I actually do film on the floor, I have a board for the flooring with printed out wood grain, and taped to my wall I have a background, along with my trusty ring light, which makes my lighting so good. Savannah has a few options. She could use natural light from a window or go outside to film. She could use a ring light like I do. I got mine off Indigo for sale. It was originally $40, but it was 50% off. What I used to use was this light along with another, which has a really bright white light on it, which gives a studio effect. Okay, well at least Savannah has good lighting, but now what? Well, it's good to be somewhere stable and to have something you can rest your camera on. I rest my camera on this wooden block because my tripod is actually too tall, but when I'm going out and about, normally I'll use my tripod for my camera. You can use a phone stand or rest it on something. You don't really have to invest in a really fancy tripod to be able to have stable footage. I'm gonna move her over to my desk, and look at that, it already looks so much more professional. The floor and the background are still not ideal, though my wall actually matches Savannah really well. I'm gonna show you the classic BooTuber scrapbook paper method. You're gonna need our 2 pieces of scrapbook paper that match your mascot, and some tape. I've taped these 2 pieces together so that they fold like this for easy storage. It's taped along the middle here, and I don't know if you can see, but there's 3 pieces of tape along the top, and that's because if you take a bubble of tape like this and put it on top of that piece of tape, then you can take it off without it ripping the scrapbook paper. So now that I have 3 pieces of tape along the top, I can just tape it up on the wall, and we have a background. But there's still this floor and this hole in my desk for cords, which can be an escape route for a Beanie Boo if they want it. I'm gonna use the same board that Safari had for her floor, just because it works really well. You see, I have scrapbook paper taped down here too to make it look more like a floor. And now look how much we've improved already. We needed something to rest the camera on, and we've got a professional setup. Look how cool this actually looks. But it's looking kind of plain, so you need some props. There are lots of places you can get props from. I recommend going to the dollar store or just shopping around your house. I found so many random things that work so well with Beanie Boos, like things from Barbies, Shopkins, dolls, Lego, etc. You can also go to Michael's and look in toy stores as well for miniature items. But if you're not willing to spend a lot of money, I also recommend thrift stores and garage sales for some miniatures. But I think the most effective way to get miniatures is to make them yourself. It's really fun and they often look really good. Like, I made this window and this desk by printing it out. And in fact, I have printables if you'd like to have some of those. I'll leave the video in the description box so you can check that out later. Okay, so it's time to talk about the camera. What you film on really doesn't have to be fancy. In fact, I started filming on this tiny Nikon camera, but now I use the Sony NEX6. When you're filming, it's good to keep in mind that your camera is steady and that the shot is good. Meaning that it's not off to the side like this, or showing things you don't want people to see. Like, you see how the background cuts off right here? You don't really want that. You want it to be positioned nicely, zoomed in a little bit, and framing the subjects in a good way. Also, it does matter how far away your camera is to your Beanie Boos. If you have your camera close and zoomed out, it looks a little bit goofy. But if you bring your camera backwards like this and zoom in, then it frames your Beanie Boos much better. You still get an up-close angle, but you can see the curve of the lens less. I also encourage you to experiment with different angles. It adds way more pizzazz to your videos, especially if you're doing skits. Okay, now that you have your channel looking nice, your background is looking great, and you know how to use your camera, it's time to film! No, it's time to plan, which is something that people often overlook. Planning is the key to making your video comprehensive. It makes sure your video is not all over the place, and it's also easier for the viewer to watch and follow along with. I use this book to plan out all of my videos from start to finish. Most of it's lists and notes and ideas, but I recently ran out of room and started this one, which I use to plan this video now. For this video, since there's a lot of facts and tips, I think I spent maybe more than an hour planning it out. The thing is, you don't want to rush your videos because then people can tell that they're rushed. Take your time planning out exactly how you want it to be. Sometimes I don't use paper at all, and it's all just in my head, and I have a firm vision of what I want the video to look like. But sometimes I need to write it all down to get it straight and plan things, make lists and stuff like that. But of course, if you're doing a music video, it's often more like concepts and themes instead of actual ideas. Whereas if it's a talking video, more like this, then I actually have to write down facts and things that I'm going to say, or else I'll end up forgetting them. Oftentimes people make an outline or script their videos, especially if they're doing skits. But I find it's better to loosely script it than actually script it word for word. You want it to flow naturally, especially with dialogue. There are pros and cons to scripting and not scripting. I normally have concepts and just go with the flow, but I don't make that many skits, so it's a little different. I recommend just doing what you feel best and do the planning that you need to do in order to make a video that you enjoy filming and that you like the product of. For this video, I just pointed out talking points that I wanted to go over, and it's actually a lot longer than most of my outlines because this is going to be a comprehensive video. It's actually time for filming. You've got your setup and everything's all set. Now you can actually start recording your video. What happens when you don't know what to record? I think you should look at your interest when recording a video. Oftentimes different channels will have trademarks for different types of videos. I find the main categories of BootTube videos are skits, explaining and talking videos, DIY videos, customization videos, and tutorials. Then there's adventure vlogs and activities where you do something or make something. And then there's hauls, reviews, or collection videos, which are more about the Beanie Boos themselves. And then finally, there's music videos or MEPs, or things that are more stylized, you know? I find those are the main categories, so you can start there when choosing the kind of videos that you like to make the best. When starting off your video, you normally want to have an intro. Hello guys, I'm Savannah, how's it going? Okay, yeah, you want something, you know, snappy and engaging like that, maybe not so aggressive, but you do want to be high energy and you want to engage people quick. You never want people clicking off your video the second they get on it. When you're filming your video, say cheese. Anyways, when you're filming your video, it's important to know exactly what you're gonna say before you start recording. I find when I was just starting out, I would just press record and know roughly what I was gonna say and end up having to edit stutters and afterwards. Basically, just take your time, have fun with it, and do things with quality. You know, take your time setting up the shots and the lighting and make sure everything looks great, especially with skits. That's where people notice it the most. And people will think you're really professional if you take your time to set up the camera, cut it, do nice cinematic shots and stuff like that. Okay, I think I'm all done. Alright, now that we're done filming, it's on to post-production. I highly recommend editing, especially if you want your videos to look professional. There are different sorts of levels of editing you can do. You can just do a base layer edit where all the clips are just together and you cut out all of the pauses and stops, or your editing can add pizzazz, like I like to do. I like to add zooms and transitions, little graphics, things that go over to explain what I'm saying and things like that. But of course, it is all based on your editing skills and the amount of time you have. Editing takes a lot of time, and if you've made any videos, you would know that. It's easy to get discouraged, but you just have to keep going. I often like to put on music or listen to something while I'm doing it to help the time fly by faster. When you're editing, and I know a lot of people get annoyed by this, make sure to edit out the hand switches, especially if you're having dialogue between two people. Nobody wants to wait and just switch hands to be talking with a different Beanie Boo. Just edit it out and it will look way better, I promise you. Also, if you're doing a skit, it makes it so much more immersive if you add sound effects like people walking or ambiance like birds chirping or people talking in the background, you know? It makes it seem much more realistic. And if it's another kind of video or a skit, it's really great if you can add background music that matches the vibe and theme of the video. Don't make it too loud to the point where you can't hear people talking, but make it just loud enough so that you can hear it. It's not supposed to be something people notice, it's just supposed to add to the video and make it seem more put together, you know? Done! Whew! Okay, now it's on to making the thumbnail. The thumbnail is extremely important. Don't overlook it. It's what hooks people into your video, and if you don't have a good thumbnail, people will not watch it. I use Canva and it's great for thumbnails. And after you're done the thumbnail, you're all ready to upload. Make sure you add tags in a description that describes your video and what's in it so that the YouTube algorithm will be able to show it to more and more people who will like that content. And then you just hit post. Good job on a new professional video. As you film and post more videos, I find it's important to look back at your old ones to see what did well and what didn't, what you liked and what you didn't like, so you can keep improving. But please don't get discouraged if a video underperforms or it doesn't do as well as you had hoped, or if you lose subscribers. I've been doing this BooTube thing for many years now, and I still lose subscribers, and I still have videos that underperformed, didn't do as well as I had hoped, and I don't get discouraged. I don't take it personally because I have fun making my videos, and that's really what I value the most. Also, make sure you be yourself, because that's what people will come to love, and you'll find an audience that appreciates you for who you are. So have fun creating and filming BooTube videos. I hope some of this was helpful. Thank you to all of the people who commented their suggestions and tips and stuff like that on the community tab post that I posted. They helped a lot. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!